As Salieri and Mozart share the stage during a section of Mozart's opera, The Magic Flute, there's a little extra magic going on all around them.
I think it's an entirely unique experience, and to my mind, maybe the fullest way to experience this story.
Joseph Hodge and Chapel Hill's PlayMakers Repertory Company have performed Sir Peter Schaffer's play Amadeus before.
Adagio in E flat.
But this time they've got a brand new cast of characters on stage, members of the North Carolina Symphony.
In my experience, I've never come across anything quite like it, where a theatre company and a symphony orchestra work so closely on their own terms.
The stage play Amadeus is about one of history's greatest composers, but it usually doesn't feature much of Mozart's work.
So if you're doing it in the play, the music's described, and maybe you're playing some little 12-second snippet of something that gives us where we go, oh, we know that piece.
But in this unique collaboration, the music and the manuscript carry equal importance.
Where in the original script it may be a 30-second snippet of a concerto, we have the full concerto, or a full movement of the concerto, so it's 9 minutes or 6 minutes instead of 30 seconds.
The idea that ultimately brought the two groups of performers together came 2 years ago, shortly after PlayMakers wrapped up a run of Amadeus in Chapel Hill.
Perhaps what I heard most from patrons coming out of it was, we love this show, we thought it was fantastic. God, I really wish I could have heard more of that music in it.
So Hodge got together with Symphony music director Grant Llewellyn. Both saw great potential in performing together.
There's some sort of visceral thrill about actually being on the same stage with the acoustic musicians making the music, and I think vice versa.
Care for the piece at all?
Well, yes, of course, Mozart.
Amadeus tells a tale of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart through the eyes of Antonio Salieri, a fellow composer who sees the young Mozart as a rival. Salieri befriends the musical prodigy while simultaneously working to destroy him.
You know how hard I've worked.
In the play, Salieri believes God is punishing him by sending along Mozart.
He's promised to live a good life, write good music, praise God in his music, help other people be altruistic, and that he would then get to be a composer. And suddenly this other musician walks in.
I'm so grateful to you, I can hardly speak.
Michael Urie, who recently starred on the ABC comedy Ugly Betty, is joining PlayMakers for Amadeus's title role.
What's great about the play is that it explores that Mozart was not a success in his own time. Not really. I mean, he was a child prodigy, and he wrote dozens and dozens and dozens of compositions before he died at an early age.
In much of this version of Amadeus, the main characters, Mozart and Salieri, perform scenes from Mozart's life. After and sometimes during their dialogue, the symphony performs the specific piece of music the characters are talking about. Works like Mozart's Requiem in D minor. The idea is to take the audience to Austria in the 1700s, to Mozart's lifetime, and into a world that's hard to create with only words.
Salieri's reading the manuscript of music, and we hear what the orchestra is playing, and he's just transported by the beauty of it.
899, thank you.
The musicians and the actors practiced on their own a bit beforehand, but only had 2 days of rehearsals together before they welcomed the audience for the first time.
It's a classical Mozart orchestra that we're using for this. Mozart's orchestras wouldn't have been anything like on the scale of some of the modern symphony orchestras, and so we scaled down.
The script needed some major changes to accommodate the symphony.
The music, of course, is expanded, so we've contracted the spoken part of the play.
By about 50% or so. That gives the actors a lot less time to develop their characters.
The major story points are hit, but you don't get a lot of internal explanation for the character motivation along the way.
The performers know the audience may need to make some connections on its own, but they hope the presence of live music creates a much fuller experience.
When you're not looking at the actors performing, your eye is going to go to violinist bowing.
The members of the Symphony and PlayMakers Repertory Company are excited about their first-of-a-kind collaboration. They say a future performing partnership isn't out of the question.
It would have to be the right thing. We'd have to find something that would make really good sense to both organizations. I would love to do it again. I've enjoyed it altogether.